Hey guys, welcome back to StreamGood. So in today's video, we're going to be creating the 3D camera overlay, which you can use for your own Twitch channel. So if you've never seen this before, it's a really cool effect where your camera actually looks bent. So if I stuck my arms out like this, you'll notice that my arms kind of bend around the camera, which creates this really cool 3D effect. So this actually isn't my idea. I got this idea from Harris Heller's Twitch channel, and he actually uploaded a video a few days ago on how to create this exact same 3D effect on his YouTube channel on Alpha Gaming. But he kind of skimmed over the details, so a lot of people were in his Discord asking questions on how to do it and how to create the mask, etc, etc. So we're going to go through each step in detail today. So before we start, let's talk about how it works. So your camera is actually split up using masks into 5 slits, and then the second and the fourth slit are bent to create the 3D effect, and then the 5 slits are just positioned to look like one camera. So to do this, we're gonna need 2 things. First thing, we're gonna need some image editing software like Photoshop or GIMP to create the masks. What we're gonna be using is we're gonna be using Inkscape, because Inkscape is really easy to use and it's completely free, because I assume you don't want to pay to use Photoshop just to make masks. And the second thing we're gonna need is the StreamEffects plugin to do the 3D transform. So one thing I want to make clear though is the StreamEffects plugin only works in OBS Studio. So if you're using Streamlabs OBS, it will not work. They do not have that plugin available. So make sure you get OBS Studio. This is one of the many reasons why I don't recommend Streamlabs OBS, but that's a topic for another video. So I've already gone through how to install both of these things in a previous video, so I'll leave a link in the description and a timestamp for where I've gone through that already. So go and watch that video, go install StreamEffects, go install Inkscape, come back here, and then we're gonna go through and start creating that 3D camera overlay. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create the mask. So this is what we're gonna use to split the camera into 5 separate slits. And we're gonna be using Inkscape today. So if you open up Inkscape, it should look a little bit like this. It might look a little bit different, but what we're gonna do is resize the page to the same size as our camera. So the camera I use is 1080p, so we're gonna make this page 1920 by 1080. So go into File, Document Properties, and then over here where it says Custom Size, we're gonna change the units to pixels and change it to 1920 by 1080. Once you've done that, we're gonna go into View and just turn on the page grid. And then on the side here, we're just gonna tick everything here, just so everything gets aligned to a grid. We're gonna select the rectangle tool and we'll start creating the 5 slits. So we're gonna make the first slit, which is gonna be around about this size. We don't wanna use the full height of our camera because we wanna make it look wide. So we might make it even a little bit smaller like this. Then we're gonna make the second slit, which will be a little bit wider. Then we're just gonna copy these 2 slits here and press Ctrl D to duplicate. So you have 2 duplicates here, and then we're just gonna flip them and put it to the right side. And then finally, we'll make another rectangle for the 3rd slit, which is the big main slit here. And then now if you select the select tool, you'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slits. So the next thing we're gonna do is press Ctrl L, and that'll bring up our layers. And we're gonna create 4 more layers to create 5 layers total. Then we're gonna start moving our slits to each layer. So we want 1 slit for each layer. The first slit is already on the first layer. Then we're gonna right click the second layer and move to layer 2 and just do the same thing for all the other layers. So by the end, you should have 5 layers. And if you just use the little eyeball thingy here, you should be able to turn off each layer one at a time. After you've done that, we're going to disable all the layers except for layer 1. And then we're gonna press Ctrl Shift E. That's gonna bring up the export option, and then we're just gonna select page to export the entire page, and we're just gonna export this as number 1. So go ahead and just do the exact same thing for all the other layers. So select layer 2 and save that as layer 2. After you've exported everything, you'll have 5 separate image files. So you'll have slit number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is where the fun part starts. So we're in OBS now, and as you can see, we have just a really basic scene layout. We have just a game that has our game and then a webcam on top of it, and then we have another scene that just has our webcam. We're actually going to create a brand new scene to work in, so we're just going to go here and right click, add, and then we're just going to call this 3D camera. Alright, this part's going to be a little bit weird. We're just going to right click and add a color source to start off. All we're going to be doing this for is to make the background white so that we can see the outline of our camera better. So we're just going to press Control F and just go transform and scale to outer bounds. We just want to have that white background just so we can see the background better. This is where the Stream Effects plugin comes in. So we're going to right click and click add, and there should be an option that says source mirror. And what this is going to do is it's going to mirror our camera so we can apply separate filters to it. And we're actually going to do this 5 times. If you don't see source mirror here, you haven't installed the Stream Effects plugin properly. So go back and watch that other video and make sure you have that. So let's add a source mirror. We're just going to call this camera 1. And we're going to select the webcam as our source. And then we're just going to do this 4 more times. Quick tip is we're just going to right click this and press copy, and then we're going to go paste duplicate 4 times. Now that we have 5 camera sources here, we can apply different filters to each of these cameras. So here's the 5th one. You actually need to move this around, and there's actually 4 cameras underneath that. We're going to go one by one, starting with camera 1, and go to filters and click the plus sign, and we're going to add a image mask first. Underneath type, we're going to select alpha mask alpha channel. This part is really important. And then for the path, we're going to click browse, and we're going to go to where we exported those PNG files that we made in Inkscape earlier. For this one, we're going to select the first one, and you'll notice that it kind of splits the camera right in that leftmost split, and we're just going to click close. And we just want to repeat the same thing for all 5 cameras. So another shortcut, we're going to click right click and select copy filters and just paste the filters to all 5 cameras. So now you'll see that we have just the leftmost split because we're using the same mask. So we have to go into each camera. So camera 2, go filters, and then we're just going to change this path to the second slit. And just repeat that for all 5 slits. So if you've done this properly, you'll see 5 cameras now. You'll have camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, and camera 5. All right, I'm just gonna reorder this so it's 1 to 5 because of my OCD, because I'm weird like that. All right, so now this is where it comes together. So we're gonna select the lock here just to lock the position for all of them except for camera 2, because we're gonna be working specifically with camera 2 now. And we're gonna right click on it, go to filters again, and we're gonna add a 3D transform filter. You will only see this if you have the Stream Effects plugin installed again. So if you don't see it again, make sure you have it installed. So we're gonna select 3D transform, and we're gonna change the camera to perspective, and then we're gonna tilt the camera, which is on the y-axis, and we're gonna tilt it about 50 degrees. So you'll see it looks kind of tilted, but looks really far away. So we're gonna change the field of view right until it's about the same height as the middle split of our camera. So right about there seems good. And then we're just gonna position the second slit so it's right in the right spot, right here. And that looks about good. So now if I stick my arm out, it looks crazy bendy. We're just gonna repeat the exact same thing for the 4th split. So we're gonna lock that and unlock the 4th one. So right click, copy filters, and paste filters on the 4th slit again. And just go in to filters, and it copied an extra mask there, so just remove that one. And instead of 50 degrees here, we're gonna make it negative 50 degrees. So it tilts the other way now. And then we just have to move it now. So it's kind of behind that 3rd slit, so just move it across here. And that seems about right. And then the last bit is we just want to go to this first camera here, which is this left one, and just make it smaller so it fits right on the edge, right about here. You can make this as perfect as you want. try to get it as lined up as possible. And then just repeat the exact same thing for the 5th split. Okay, so we're so close to being done now. So if you move your arms off to the side, you can see it kind of moves off and it's tilted like that. But we're missing one detail which really sells this effect. And we're actually gonna make one side a bit darker and the other side a bit lighter. So it kind of looks like there's a light shining down onto your camera. So we're gonna go into camera 2, and again we're gonna go into filters and we're gonna add a color correction filter. Press OK, and then we're just gonna turn the brightness down. Let's turn it down to about minus, say 30, and then press OK. So that looks pretty good. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing for camera 4, except this time we're gonna make it brighter. So we're gonna add plus about 30 here. And that's it. So now we have the 3D camera effect. How do we put this over our game now? Well, what we can do is, let's turn off this color source first. We can either add a scene within our game scene, or we can select all 5 of the cameras and select group selected items, and we'll actually create a group so we can just add this one single source into any other scene that we want. So we have one group source now. If we go back to our game scene, which just has our boring camera, we're gonna turn that off. Right click, add, and we can choose scene here, which I like to do, or you can use group, whatever you want. We're actually gonna use scene, but use a group, same thing. And then I'm gonna select 3D camera. Then simple, you just have to resize it, put it wherever you want, put it in the corner here, and that's it. You got the 3D camera effect going. So hopefully that clears up any questions you had about the 3D camera overlay. I know this has been a bit of a long video, but Harris's video was a little bit light on details and a lot of people had questions, so I thought I would just answer everything. That's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I do more streaming Twitch style videos in this channel, so check out the channel, go to the Discord in the description, and I will see you guys next week, or whenever I upload videos, because I'm super inconsistent. Anyway, see you guys.